Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unwoke Thoughts. Got a big show for you today. Big show. Lots to talk about, yes. Jack Smith has dropped a brand new indictment on Donald Trump. You smell that? That's the smell of a fresh indictment, baby. A fresh indictment. And while it's technically new, it's very much along the same lines as the previous one. Of course, earlier this year, Donald Trump was charged by the Department of Justice for his role in January 6th. He was charged with a number of conspiracy-related crimes pertaining to the attack on the Capitol and the effort to overturn the election. The first indictment, the original one, if you will, was kind of bizarre because what they were claiming is that Trump lied about knowing the election was not actually rigged. So they charged him with defrauding people, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and a couple of other things. But that was thwarted by the recent Supreme Court decision, which reaffirmed the president's broad immunity when he is discharging the official duties of the office, which he was at the time of his so-called criminal conduct that is described in the previous indictment. So yesterday, the DOJ effectively re-indicted or recharged the president. They reworked the indictment in a way where it goes around or it circumvents the Supreme Court ruling. So they charged him earlier, and they said that he conspired to overturn the results or attempted to defraud the people of their vote. The Supreme Court then rules this summer that actually his conduct is protected under the Constitution. He is immune in certain activities, not all, but most. So then this illegal special prosecutor, Jack Smith, reworks the entire indictment so that it only includes language and types of conduct that falls outside of the scope of presidential immunity. So you really just can't win in this country. They charge you, the Supreme Court finds you immune, they'll just charge you again. They'll just find another way to do it. They'll charge you with just about anything. They'll change the words. For example, in the new indictment, they call him a candidate. But in the old indictment, they called him the president. And these are the semantic games they play. So that's what's going on with our crooked Justice Department right now. And it really has never been more clear that whoever is running these institutions shouldn't be. They just shouldn't be. Also, some other stuff we're going to be talking about, and probably the most insane flip-flop of all time, Kamala Harris has pledged to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to, guess what? Build a wall on the southern border. Now, I'm not going to say that Kamala Harris is copying Donald Trump because she knows her actual policies are very unpopular because they would, ruin the country. But Kamala Harris is copying Donald Trump because she knows her actual policies are very unpopular because they would ruin the country. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, the Harris and Trump campaigns have finally reached an agreement on the ABC debate, so that's very exciting. And Kamala Harris is prepping for her debate with a lawyer who works for Google, which raises some legal questions about a possible conflict of interest. Also, little Kamala is finally going to give an interview. Yes, little Kamala is finally growing up, but she won't be doing it alone. She's got to have training wheels, you see. Or as someone on X put it, I saw this on X, training walls. Yes, training walls. Like Tim Walls. Get it? You get it? Disney is offering an enormous amount of cash in their job hunt for a new DEI director. And finally, Greg Abbott has removed over 1 million people from Texas voter rolls. Before we get into the show, guys, if you could leave a like on this video, I'd really appreciate it. And also comment down below and let me know what you think of the show. And if you enjoy the show, consider subscribing. But ladies and gentlemen, Jack Smith is officially back. Aren't you excited? Jack Smith. Oh, the guy he doesn't go anywhere. He's like a attack dog. He's like a rabid animal. You push him off. I don't know. I saw this viral video of this woman walking through a park. She's just walking there. And all of a sudden there's this raccoon, this rabid raccoon that sees her, It's like walking all normally for a while, you know, kind of walks past her. And then all of a sudden the raccoon turns around and just jumps up, grabs her. And this woman has no idea what's going on. And it latches onto her arm. She's shaking it. She even like throws it down on the ground, probably injured it. But the raccoon just kept getting up and going like a rabid animal. That is Jack Smith. He is a rabid raccoon. Jack Smith is a rabid raccoon. And you know what else? This is just a very kind of a tangent, little tidbit. Jack Smith's wife wrote Michelle Obama's documentary on Netflix. I found that out last night. So, yeah, all of these people are just it's just like a giant incestuous group, right? But Fox News is reporting this, talking about this. Trump indicted a second time in election subversion case brought by special counsel Jack Smith. Yes, very, very exciting stuff. The superseding indictment is unlikely to go to trial before the November election. So this, I mean, really what this is just lawfare. They're just trying to slow him down, eat up his time, his energy, his resources. That's all this is. Lawfare. Special counsel Jack Smith on Tuesday filed another indictment against President Trump over his alleged efforts to challenge the results of the 2020 presidential election, revising the charges in an effort to navigate a recent Supreme Court ruling that gave former presidents immunity for official acts. The new indictment keeps the prior criminal charges, but narrows and reframes the allegations against the Republican presidential nominee after a Supreme Court ruling that conferred broad immunity on former presidents. So they're like, okay, the Supreme Court, they're going to give me all of these, restrictions. They're going to say that he's immune. Well, I'm going to chip away, find a path, navigate around. It's like finding a maze, You can't use X, Y, or Z because the Supreme Court said that Trump was immune from that because he did those things while he was in office. But you take all of those things out of the bag or whatever, and what are you left with? And then you got to write all the legal jargon pertaining to those things that you're left with. Take out all the legal jargon that might have had something to do with Donald Trump and his duties as president, and find a way to navigate through the legal process that way. And then find a grand jury to accept it. And yes, the grand jury is from Washington, D.C. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a very, very fair grand jury. Of course, and they say it's a grand jury who has never heard the facts of this case before. Yes, I mean, come on, guys. It's a grand jury. You got to trust them, right? I mean, it's coming from Jack Smith. I mean, completely trustworthy. Of course. Just like, you read something on, MSNBC, completely trustworthy. Why would you not trust that? I mean, it's crazy. Specifically, the indictments has been changed to remove allegations involving Department of Justice officials and other government officials. It clarifies Trump's role as candidate. So it's got these semantical games that it's playing. And makes clear the allegations regarding his conversations with then Vice President Mike Pence and his ceremonial role as President of the Senate. The new indictment removes a section of the previous indictment that had accused Trump of trying to wield the Justice Department to undo his 2020 loss. The Supreme Court recently ruled in a 6-3 decision that Trump was immune from prosecution for official White House acts. Trump has been charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States. So, like I had mentioned earlier, basically what they're trying to say, like in this indictment, is Trump knew or knows that it wasn't rigged, yet he's saying so anyways. So it's like, how can they? So I guess they have some sort of brain probe that can go into his brain and just know what Trump is actually thinking. It's kind of weird. Of course, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempt to obstruct a official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Oh, wow. Just conspiracy against rights. You know what? I think we can turn all these things around and charge them towards the Justice Department itself, okay? And Kamala Harris and the Biden administration. Just take these exact charges and throw them right back at them. Those charges to which Trump pleaded not guilty remain Smith alleges that Trump participated in an effort to enlist slates of fake electors in key states won by then candidate Biden. So that's all old news right there. But Donald Trump has reacted on Truth Social. I'm going to read a couple. He posted it was like a barrage of truths about this. This is the first one that I saw. No presidential candidate or candidate for any office has ever had to put up with all of this lawfare and weaponization directly out of the office of a political opponent. They've weaponized local DAs and attorney generals and anyone else that would listen to interfere with the upcoming 2024 presidential election. Never been done before. This is now Kamala's weaponized system against her political opponent. All of these scams will fail, just as deranged Jack's hoax in Florida has been fully dismissed, and we will win the most important election in the history of our country on November the 5th. Make America great again. And he also tweeted this a little bit after. He said, it is DOJ policy that the Department of Justice should not take any action that will influence an election within 60 days of that election. But they have just taken such action. Voting starts on September the 6th. Therefore, the DOJ has violated its own policy. So, of course, there's early voting in some states and mail-in voting and all that stuff. And he says, election interference. All of these Comrade Kamala / Biden hoaxes should be immediately dismissed. So it is unprecedented, guys. What is it? Like 70 days until November the 5th? Something like that. And a fresh indictment. I don't even know. That's why I'm saying, like, this Jack Smith fella, he's like a rabid raccoon. When I think of that guy, I think of that video, that viral video of that raccoon attacking that woman in the park. And she's just like shaking her arm like, what is going on here? And the raccoon is just like for no reason, just going after her. And she even slings it off and it just comes right back and just jumps on her. That's like Jack Smith and Donald Trump. It's pretty freaky stuff, guys. But even Speaker Mike Johnson, he's talking about this. He's kind of a swamp rat himself. He's like swamp rat light. Let's just put it that way. He's swamp rat light. He was a tiebreaker vote in passing the FISA legislation, or not just that, but the Biggs Amendment, which would have required certain restrictions on FISA, and he was a tiebreaker vote in the Biggs Amendment. But then he comes out and he'll flip flop on stuff, just plays politics pretty brutally. But he comes out and he says, Donald Trump continues to be the most prosecuted politician in the history of our country. Today, after getting 2 of his cases thrown out by the courts, Jack Smith is grasping at straws once again. Just 70 days before the election, Smith has brought yet another bogus indictment. Americans are sick of this corrupt and shameless lawfare. They know this is not about justice, but about politics. It's so true, guys. I am sick of this. When I was preparing for the show last night, I'm going through, looking at different, trying to read about this new indictment, and I legitimately got a headache. I don't take painkillers very much, like ibuprofen, but last night after I was done, I took 2 ibuprofen, felt much better. I thought I was done with Jack Smith for a while, but no, he came back. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have set a dangerous, destructive precedent by weaponizing the Department of Justice and using it to prosecute their political opponents. So American people will not let this stand. November 5th cannot arrive soon enough. I agree. We cannot let this stand. 100%, 1,000,000% agree. But I really hope, because it's not just the American people we're talking about letting this stand. I really hope the RNC and the Republicans have, put safeguards in place for the elections. Okay, for the elections. Election integrity is paramount in this election, because it's not just about who actually, who actually wins. It's about who makes it over the finish line. I think we saw that, in 2020. Because what they'll do is they'll just get one of the candidates, pushed over the finish line. And as long as that candidate is declared the winner, you can't really go back on that. And the excuse or the justification that our leaders, the people in power, they use is because it would denigrate the integrity of, the election process to the wider population. That's always what they use. They will, turn around results in certain, smaller areas, right? Like maybe local elections, but a national election, forget it. It's who gets over the finish line and who is declared the winner. After that, they will literally suppress just about anything. I think you guys know this. And I'm, treading into dangerous territory, just, discussing it. But I really hope that we have some safeguards. And I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. Governor Abbott is doing some great things in Texas. She's done some great things. So we might be seeing a much safer election. But Nicole Shanahan, she is RFK Jr.'s running mate, or still is, I guess, kind of. She said that she went on CNN. She said that she used to, or she didn't go on CNN. She tweeted out a CNN video, and she said that she used to roll her eyes when people said that Trump was being persecuted through the courts, and she doesn't anymore. This is what she said. She said, I'll admit, I used to kind of roll my eyes when people claimed that President Trump was being persecuted. I was looking at it through the distorted filter of the media. Well, I just completed my first cross-examination in our second New York ballot access case, where the DNC-aligned PAC attorneys questioned me like a criminal. Says, okay, I get it now. Our justice system is clearly being co-opted and abused by nefarious people with malevolent political agendas.
And we do have major breaking news. Special Counsel Jack Smith has just filed a superseding indictment in the federal election interference.
And you got to love, okay, guys, ever since, I guess the past few years when I don't really pay much attention to corporate press, or take it that seriously, I like to observe the theatrics, right? So the music coming in, the exciting music. Oh, whoa. Everyone, pay attention. Jack Smith, Special Counsel Jack Smith has dropped another indictment. Pay attention and take that very seriously. This is very serious stuff. You got the music playing in the background. You got this guy in a suit, talking very intensely into the camera. Breaking news. I got the graphics flashing. Pure propaganda.
And we do have major breaking news. Special Counsel Jack Smith has just filed a superseding indictment in the federal election interference case against the former president, Donald Trump. Let's go straight to CNN's Caitlin Polance. Caitlin, this is just happening right now. What more do we know?
That's right. This is the special counsel's effort to get this case back on the road toward trial. This is the January 6th federal election case in court in Washington, D.C. against Donald Trump. The 4 charges that Donald Trump has been facing for quite some time now, they're the same in this what's called a...
Yeah, so we just talked about it all, but I thought that was kind of funny, guys. Of course, Nicole Shanahan, they're kind of dealing with this kind of the same stuff that Donald Trump is, but on kind of a much lesser scale, which is one of the reasons why RFK Jr. joined Donald Trump's campaign. I mean, that's just the facts of the matter, because they do disagree on a lot, but on these fundamental things, they are aligned. Okay. Moving on, dude, to Kamala Harris. Did I say dude? I said moving on, dude. That's a sign that you say dude too much. I meant to say two. Moving on to Kamala Harris and the border wall, guys. Kamala Harris has flip-flopped on building a border wall. Never thought I'd see this happen, but it is happening, apparently. This is reported on by Axios. They report, if she's elected president, Kamala Harris pledges to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on the wall along the southern border, a project she once opposed and called un-American during the Trump administration. Harris is embracing a more hawkish immigration policy as Donald Trump's campaign spends tens of millions of dollars attacking her about the border. she still has significant differences with Trump on immigration, opposing his approach to family separation and his plans for mass deportation. So essentially, they let all of these millions of illegal immigrants into the country. And now they're going to say that they are the ones that are hawkish on the border. They already have. They've already gotten what they've wanted. They've gotten, there are 15 million illegal immigrants over the border. So if they do something about the border wall or, put up parts of the border wall, it's not going to really matter anymore. But they're not going to have any sort of policy to get these illegals out. But it's kind of funny that she's flip-flopping. And I think this shows that the Harris campaign is sort of panicking. With RFK joining the ticket, Tulsi Gabbard joining the campaign. Now, Kamala Harris, she's copying all of Trump's policies. The border, no tax on tips. I mean, I saw someone on X, they said, next thing Kamala Harris is going to do is dye her hair blonde and put on a navy blue suit with a red tie. And she's going to start moving her hands like this. Have you guys ever seen that video or those videos they do of Trump because he moves his hands like this and someone will put like an accordion between his hands? It's kind of funny. But the bill was negotiated on by senators such as James Lankford and Chris Murphy. It'll require hundreds of millions of dollars of unspent funds to be used to continue building a wall on the border. It requires a Trump border wall, Lankford told Axios. It is in the bill itself that it sets the standards that were set during the Trump administration. Here's where it will be built. Here's how it will be built. The height, the type, and everything during the Trump construction. Harris campaign says the border deal is a whole lot more than continuation of wall funding and a tiny fraction of what Trump proposed. So what is it, Harris? What is it? Are you going to reinstate remain in Mexico? Because remember when Biden took office, when the Biden-Harris administration, Biden, border czar Kamala Harris administration came into the White House, they annihilated that. They annihilated remain in Mexico. And now just about anybody from all over the world, anywhere in the world, can come across the border and declare asylum. Just show up, declare asylum. We've got courts that are bogged down with millions upon millions of asylum declarations, and they just release them into the United States like, hey, thank you, come back whenever your court date is here. What? Trump, when he was in office, they would have to remain in Mexico, where they came from, until their court date came up. So very, very different. Trump's campaign also released a statement about this, about Kamala Harris's flip-flop on the border. They said, how much longer will the mainstream media allow Kamala Harris to hide and use staff to speak on her behalf? It's day 37 of zero interviews, and Kamala's anonymous campaign sources are now claiming she supports President Trump's border wall. This is a preposterous and false claim. Kamala's record proves she is pro-open border. She called the wall un-American, a waste of taxpayer money, medieval, and said it isn't going to stop illegal immigration. As a senator, Kamala tries to block President Trump's construction on the border wall. As border czar, Kamala Harris halted construction on the border wall. Kamala Harris's actions speak much louder than her words. And I mean, if you look at her past words, let's see, where is this? Oh, here we go. I did a filter search of VP Kamala Harris's Twitter before I hopped on the live stream with you guys. So I'm searching in her tweets right up here. Oh, you can't see that, but I'm searching border or wall. So let's see what she said in the past about the border wall from her very own Twitter account. And then I'll play you a video here in a second of her saying it with her very own mouth. So Kamala Harris, this is, a few years ago. Let me be perfectly clear. Trump's border wall is a waste of taxpayer money. This is from her account, guys. This is, look at, I don't know if you can see that very well. There we go. Vice President Kamala Harris at VP. Yes. Another one. Let's get one thing straight. Trump's border wall is a stupid use of taxpayer money. Yep. The administration is looking to use military retirement funds to help pay for the president's vanity project of a border wall. The wall doesn't make anyone safer. It's irresponsible and wrong. Those are some pretty strong words. So in the past, the wall doesn't make anyone safer. Now, we will pledge hundreds of millions of dollars for this border wall. It's like, Kamala? What have you done with Kamala Harris? Kamala, wow, she just got smart all of a sudden. Crazy. Here's another one. Trump's border wall is just a stupid use of money. I will fight any funding for it. Oh, wow. Not anymore, though. Last one. Guys, I'm not even lying. There's like 50 of these. It's unacceptable that the president is considering going around Congress to fund his ridiculous border wall by raiding funds meant to protect communities from natural disasters. I'm proud to introduce a bill today to make sure that doesn't happen. So she fought with legislation, the border wall, as well. So, I mean, this is nothing I'm surprised about, guys. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that she's now pledging hundreds of millions of dollars for the border wall, but I think it's because she realized that, or the Democrats, her campaign, I don't think this has anything to do with her whatsoever. I don't really think she has a clue what's going on. She's kind of like Joe Biden. She's just crammed down in the basement, and they'll bring her up for light every now and then because they absolutely have to. But I think her campaign is sort of panicking a little bit because all of her other policies, her policies that differ from Donald Trump, are very unpopular. Price fixing, her price gouging policy, price controls, her policy about taxing unrealized capital gains. I mean, those are just about as communist as you can get. And even the mainstream media are pushing back on those policies. They don't push back on much. But when it comes to institutions possibly losing a lot of money, yes, they will push back because it's really these institutions that the media is protecting in the long run, okay? That's really what it is. But also, Colin Rugg tweeted this out. I thought this was a good tweet. He goes, Kamala Harris on the border wall over the years. 2017, asking taxpayers to pay for a border wall is a terrible idea. 2018, funding Trump's unrealistic border wall would be a gross misuse of taxpayer money. 2019, Trump's border wall is stupid. I think we read that one. 2020, as I said, Trump's border wall is a complete waste of taxpayer money and won't make us any safer. 2021, she becomes the border czar, and, her and Joe Biden lets millions of illegals in. I think it's up to almost I think the official number is over 11 million, but it's much more than that. That's just the ones that we know about, not counting gotaways. 2022 lets millions of illegals in. 2023 lets millions of illegals in. 2024, build the wall. What changed? What changed? And he says, time for the media to do more cleanup. Yeah, they've got a memory hole that, just like they memory hold the border czar thing. But listen.
And folks, on the subject of transnational gangs, let's be perfectly clear. The president's medieval vanity project is not going to stop them. This issue is about a vanity project for this president.
Right.
And it is a problem of his own making.
Right.
And listen, when I travel this country, folks have plenty enough problems that they need their president to focus on, instead of a wall that, by the way, because I was a prosecutor for many years, including the Attorney General of California, I specialize on transnational criminal organizations.
Yeah.
That wall ain't gonna stop them.
No.
Guys, I can't. She just explodes into delirious laughter. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really funny when these people, I've seen it on X where they will show like this video of a couple illegal immigrants on the Mexico side of the wall. They'll be climbing up this really tall wall with a rope ladder around their backs, and they'll climb up somehow and they'll get a ladder over the wall, and people are like, see, I told you walls don't work. It's just like, really? I mean, really? Are you that dumb? I mean, obviously a wall, nothing is perfect. Okay. It's like they look for perfection. And when they don't find it, they're like, see, they'll find any imperfection. See, I told you. It's like, yeah, someone could bring an electric grinder and probably cut pieces of the metal off. But this is accompanied by Border Patrol and other things. And it's not just the wall in and of itself, you know? Just put a giant glass bulletproof bubble over the entire United States. Perfect. Let's go. No. But also, I mean, here's another video of Kamala Harris. Or actually, no, that's not. It was deleted, so can't show you that one. But also, moving on to this, guys. Kamala Harris, her campaign also flip-flopped on another aspect. They are now claiming that she doesn't support electric vehicle mandates. This is something that they released the other day as well. Said this afternoon, this is from the Harris-Walz campaign. This afternoon, the most unpopular VP pick in history, J.D. Vance, is set to deliver remarks on the economy, inflation, blah, 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 blah. And then, all the way down at the bottom, it has claim. Vice President wants to force every American to own an electric vehicle. Fact, Vice President Harris does not support an electric vehicle mandate. But you look here, her administration. Fox News. They doubled down on a gas car crackdown mandate. I believe in California, they actually are implementing this within, several years. They had like a timeline. After this certain amount of years, we are going to be fading out gas-powered cars and bringing in electric cars exclusively. The subtitle is Tinkering with the Near-Term Speed of Implementation Doesn't Change the End Game, which is banning new gas-powered cars. So Kamala Harris, she can run from this stuff, but she can't hide, okay? She can run, Kamala. You can run, but you can't hide. Just like Jack Smith is like a rabid raccoon, this stuff is going to stick to you. And we're going to keep calling it out because you're a liar. And more specifically, whoever is in charge, the Machiavellian personalities in charge of the Democrat Party, they are liars, okay? They're just Kamala Harris, she got into too many pills from her medicine cabinet, and she's now little loopy. She's permanently loopy or something. She has no clue what's going on, which is why they don't want her on interviews and all of these things. But speaking of interviews, Harris brings along VP pick for her first sit-down interview. Now, this, I believe, is Thursday. Let's see. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to sit down for her first interview since launching her campaign with CNN, and her running mate, Tim Walz, will be appearing alongside her. Oh, wow. So I thought she was a strong, independent black woman. Why does she need a white man to be there sitting next to her while she gives this interview? It's very incredible stuff, right? Harris and her campaign have faced growing pressure over the last month as the vice president has failed to hold a press conference or sit down for an interview since launching her bid for president. CNN announced Tuesday that its own Dana Bash will get the first chance to interview Harris in a segment airing Thursday. So Thursday, I'm going to try to stream that, okay? Thursday, I will be streaming. So that's tomorrow, right? Today is Wednesday. Yes, today's Wednesday. I'll be streaming that tomorrow if I can find it. If it's not just exclusively like on a TV network, if I can find it somewhere online, be able to stream it, I will stream it here. So make sure you subscribe. Yes, very important. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, okay? The vice president previously told reporters that she was hoping to get an interview scheduled by the end of the month. While deliberating whether Harris should do an interview, campaign aides were asking reporters for advice on who the sit-down should be done with. Politico reported Harris disagrees with the idea that she needs a big showy interview, I bet. At this point in the race, two people told Politico ahead of the CNN news. So, exciting stuff, guys. Harris, interview. Are you excited? I'm actually a little bit excited about that. It kind of sucks, though, that Tim Walz is going to be there. But I feel like eventually she's going to have to sit down for an interview by herself. She has to. I know there's not a whole lot of time left in this election. But eventually she's going to have to sit down or give some sort of remarks by herself. I mean, she has to go into this debate, which we're about to talk about here in a second. So I think we're going to be able to see some pretty good content coming up. But we have exciting news, guys. Yes, Donald Trump, he broke this himself. He said, I have reached an agreement. This is on True Social, with the radical left Democrats for a debate with Comrade Kamala Harris. It will be broadcast live on ABC Fake News. By far the nastiest and most unfair newscaster in the business. On Tuesday, September 10th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The rules will be the same as the last CNN debate. So that's good. Because remember, the Harris campaign was trying to change the rules. So when Joe Biden dropped out, Donald Trump wanted to renegotiate some terms, right? Well, then the Harris campaign, they just came back and on X, on social media, in articles, on TV, they were mocking Trump. Oh, Trump doesn't want to debate. Trump doesn't want to debate. He already agreed to this debate on September the 10th, these two debates. And now he's trying to back out when Trump was actually trying to renegotiate terms because they, forced Biden out and they installed Kamala Harris. So technically he doesn't have a contract with Kamala Harris. So why wouldn't you try to renegotiate terms? But they came back and they were just mocking him over this. Oh, he's already agreed to this, blah, blah, blah. So his campaign was like, all right, whatever, we'll do the freaking debate. So same terms, same network, same everything. And then just the other day, the Harris campaign came back and they were trying to switch around some of the stuff. They wanted Harris to have notes. They wanted to be seated. They wanted the mics to be muted. And the Trump campaign was like, what are you talking about? We agreed to the same debate that you mocked us for not agreeing to before when we tried to change the terms. And then again, a barrage of attacks against Donald Trump. Oh, he's scared to debate. He's scared to debate. They don't want, and this is literally something that they did. In one of the articles I wrote, they accused the Trump campaign of not wanting to have hot mics, meaning they didn't want, the Trump campaign is really what they want to do is just keep everything the same, but they don't want the mics, or they want the mics to be muted. So one candidate can give the answer while the other candidate is muted and they can't interrupt, which is exactly how it was in the Biden administration or the Biden debate. So they claimed that the Trump campaign wants these muted mics because if Trump is caught on a hot mic, it would make him sound unpresidential. It's just like, this is how low they're willing to stoop when they very well know that this is something that was demanded by the Biden administration. This is not something that the Trump administration wanted. In fact, they wanted the opposite. But the Biden administration, the Biden campaign, demanded all of these things. No audience, muted microphones, all of these things. And Trump relented. Trump's campaign relented. And now he's being blamed and mocked for something that Biden himself demanded. It's, dude, guys, I said, dude, again, what am I doing? Guys, this stuff is sick. These people are sick. So he says these rules work out well for everyone, except perhaps crooked Joe Biden. The debate will be stand up and the candidates cannot bring notes or cheat sheets. So that's good. So Kamala Harris is going to have to, talk off the top of her head or through a tiny little earpiece. How many of you think that she's going to have a tiny little itty bitty earpiece in? I think so. We have also been given assurance by ABC that this will be fair and equitable, right? And that neither side will be given the questions in advance. No, Donna Brazil. Harris will not agree to the Fox News debate on September the 4th, but that date will be held open in case she changes her mind or flip-flops, as she has done on every single one of her long-held and cherished policy beliefs. That's a good one. I like that. A possible third debate, which would go to NBC fake news, has not been agreed to by the radical left. Huh. Why are you scared? Kamala, why are you scared? But Eric Swalwell say they always invert things. Because what's happening really is the Kamala Harris campaign is trying to put all these ridiculous restrictions, try to, they flip-flop, they run around in circles, they beat around the bush, while the whole time saying that it's in fact Donald Trump that is scared. Eric Swalwell goes on MSNBC, just a total cesspool. And he says, just listen to this, guys.
Congressman, you had a thought.
Yeah, just on the debate, by the way, it's nice to see that he wants to be a part of it again. But let's be real. He agreed to debate not because he suddenly found courage, but because
they were the ones that were trying to change the rules. They were trying to change the terms. But these people, they don't just go back and not talk about it. No. It's like they have this impulse to lie. They are pathological liars. They can't just not talk about it, realize that this, that's not a really bad look for us. Or that's not really a good look for us. I'm just not going to talk. I'm going to be quiet about this one. No. They have a impulsion to lie. It's like they get off on it. They enjoy it. It gives them pleasure. I genuinely believe that some of these politicians, like Eric Swalwell here, Chinese spy Fang Swalwell, he gets off online. He really does.
Because he was being crushed for not debating, and he knows that he dodged the debate, and the public knows that he chickened out. But I still believe his instinct is always to run away from a fight, whether it was the draft, 50 years ago or this fight now. So until he shuffles onto stage, who knows if he's going to show up?
So none of that is true, obviously. Like I said, they just love it. And I get politics is dirty. But that's just another level, right? It's like they set these things up. And really, I don't know who this really works on other than people that might not follow both sides. If you don't follow Kamala or if you don't follow Trump and you only exclusively listen to MSNBC, you'd be like, whoa, Trump is a little scaredy cat. I guess there's a lot of people in the world like that because there's a lot of people, in the United States still that believe that these news sources such as MSNBC are actually attempting to tell the truth. It's crazy. But if you guys want to know who this ABC debate moderator is, or one of them, it's this woman right here, Lindsay Davis. She is one of the debate moderators. And just recently, during the DNC, she tried to connect Trump to the KKK. Yeah, guys, you can't make this stuff up. So these debate moderators are radically left. They will legitimately lie about Donald Trump, try to connect him to something that is extremely bad, in the public eye. And yet they are still held up as a fair, non-biased debate platform. Listen.
As you know, former President Donald Trump is expected to go campaign in Howell, Michigan tomorrow. Many people are aware that a month ago in Howell, KKK protesters marched in the streets with the white robes on and suggested that they support Donald Trump. I'm curious if you make anything about that connection and him.
So there you go, guys. So just because Donald Trump was in the same city that had what do they call a division of the KKK? A cell? I don't know anything about the KKK. But just because he's in the same city as these people, she's trying to tie him to these people as if he's going there. She's insinuating. It's all insinuations, right? He's going there to placate these people, to pander to these people. And remember, Donald Trump himself, when he was asked this, when he was there in Howell, Michigan, he was asked this, and he came up to the podium and he was very exasperated. He said, who came to Howell, Michigan? Who came here in 2021? And the reporter said, Joe Biden. He's like, thank you very much. And he walks away. They don't ask about that. They don't try to tie Joe Biden to these KKK members. But of course, I can point it out a million times. It doesn't change much, but I still have to point it out, guys. It's still the media, their lies. It's like what fuels me. It's like what fuels the show. Like that's 99% of what fuels the show is the media and their lies, because it legitimately bothers me. Moving on to this wild piece of information. Harris is prepping for debate with Google lawyer, creating conflict of interest, Trump campaign says. Now, why does this say conflict of interest? Well, the Biden DOJ is currently in a lawsuit with Google for antitrust violations. You guys remember that. The Trump campaign is calling out a potential conflict of interest ahead of the first presidential debate. They told Fox News Digital that Karen Dunn, who is part of the team prepping Vice President Kamala Harris for the showdown, is simultaneously working as Google's lead defense attorney in the Biden-Harris administration's lawsuit against the tech giant. No. Why? It's just, you just love to see it, don't you? Conflicts of interest do not exist for the Democrats. We saw that with Judge Juan Merchan, who was the judge over this trial where Trump is being sentenced later next month, or September the 18th. He was the judge. He presided over this trial, this false business records trial, hush money case. And his daughter runs this organization called Authentic Campaigns, which raises money for all of these Democrats, these Democrat organizations, Joe Biden, Gretchen Whitmer, Adam Schiff, some of the most weaponized Democrats against Donald Trump, yet he doesn't recuse himself from the case. Then you have this. It's just like conflict of interest after conflict of interest. But for a Democrat, that's not even a thing. What? What's a conflict of interest? What? The lawsuit, United States versus Google LLC, is the Biden-Harris administration's antitrust lawsuit targeting Google's digital advertising practices. The trial is set to begin September the 9th, a day before the presidential debate. Dunn, who is Google's outside counsel through the law firm Paul Weiss, Rifkind, Wharton, and Garrison, is listed in the lawsuit as a lead attorney. Dunn also advised Harris ahead of her 2020 vice presidential debate against then Vice President Mike Pence. So, very interesting stuff. Very quickly, guys, RFK Jr., is being taken, or not taken. He's actually being forced to stay on the ballot in multiple swing states. Yes. Another tweet by Colin Rugg. He talks about the things that have happened since RFK Jr. came up, did a press conference, and accused the left of weaponizing the courts and the media. This is what has happened since. Democrats are forcing him to remain on the ballot in Michigan and Wisconsin so that they can try and take votes away from Trump. So he wanted to take his name off the ballot in these swing states. But no. All of a sudden, the Democrats want him on the ballot ever since he said that he was endorsing Trump. They fought for, they spent millions of dollars, fought so hard to take him off these ballots in all these states. And some of the states, they are still attempting to take him off the ballot. But in these swing states, all of a sudden, they want him on the ballot. And they are forcing him to stay on the ballot. That's how sick these people are. Then another one, RFK Jr. reveals he is being forced to cough up $10 million to defend himself from Democrats who want to keep him off ballots. Then, of course, another one we talked about today, Jack Smith files a superseding indictment against Trump just 70 days before the 2024 election. Mark Zuckerberg confirms the Biden administration pressured Meta into censoring Americans, and the FBI pressured Meta to silence the Hunter Biden laptop. The media has launched multiple slander campaigns against RFK to minimize the impact of his endorsement. These are all things that have happened just since RFK Jr. announced that he was backing Trump because the courts and the government, the Justice Department, the Democrats are weaponized against candidates like himself and Donald Trump. These are all things that are happening now. It's like they don't even care. They're not even hiding it. They don't even oh, wow, we just got called out big time. I guess we better slow down. No, very blatant. I mean, just look at this. Michigan Democrat Secretary of State keeps RFK Jr.'s name on the ballot while they're actively planning and trying to keep Cornel West off the ballot. It's crazy. RFK Jr. has been denied the ability to take his name off the ballot in the swing state of Michigan. That's my state. Possibly opening up an avenue for more votes to go to him instead of Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. This comes as the Michigan Secretary of State is moving to keep leftist Cornel West off the ballot. Why do they want Cornel West off the ballot? Well, he's pretty left. He's pretty radical. So they don't want some of these ideological radical voters to vote for West over Kamala because he aligns with them more. But RFK has already endorsed Donald Trump. So really, I mean, him getting off the ballot just hurts Kamala, just plain and simple. So now they just want they want RFK to be on the ballots in all these states because it will only take votes away from Donald Trump. According to Axios, Kennedy will not be able to remove his name from the ballot. The senior press secretary for Michigan Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, just her name, it makes me nauseous, told the outlet minor party candidates cannot withdraw, so his name will remain on the ballot in the November election. So while working to remove a minor party candidate from the ballot, they are forcing a minor party ballot or minor party candidate to stay on the ballot. How does that make sense? Rules don't apply to these people. Until there are consequences, rules don't apply. They're not going to do anything out of the kindness of their own hearts. But I mean, this just shows it perfectly right here. Two sets of headlines. From earlier this year, Democrats and their allies sued to keep RFK Jr. off the ballot in several states. And now RFK Jr. won't be able to remove himself from ballots in Michigan and Wisconsin. Yeah. Incredible stuff, guys. Can't make it up. All right. Disney, second to last thing we're going to talk about. Then we'll get to the chat, guys. This comes to us from the Daily Wire. they are talking about this. I thought this was pretty interesting. In the midst of all of this DEI stuff, a lot of people are calling out the horrors of DEI. Disney is seeking a DEI director, and they are offering a salary 4 times the national average. So they are doubling down, they say, doubling down on DEI instead of desperately trying to right their sinking financial ship. Yeah, it's like they're shooting themselves in their own foot. I mean, I never watched Disney that much before, but now it's just, I can't even stand it. It's just the stuff that they pump out there. I think I had Disney Plus for like a couple months many years ago. And now seeing some of the stuff that is being pumped out by Disney, it's just pure sludge. I can't imagine anybody who'd want to watch any of that stuff. Some of the old stuff was kind of cool. You know, it's iconic. But the new stuff, it's pure garbage. I've been to Disney World one time. It was I guess a decent experience. I went right before a hurricane was supposed to hit Florida. So there wasn't a lot of people there. And Disney World was open. So it was all right because I really didn't have to wait in line for the rides. I went on some of the rides, you know, me and some friends. And I mean, this was probably like, I don't know, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. But as the day progressed, most of the day was pretty empty. There were some people there, but as the day progressed, the lines got longer and longer and longer. And it was just horrible. After a while, it's just like, I'm waiting in line for, 45 minutes to ride a ride that's, 2.5 minutes maybe. To me, that's just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good trade-off. That's why I don't like theme parks a lot, because of that. Unless you get like a fast pass. But Disney, like Disney World, you get a fast pass or something like that. Oh, you're paying just wads of money for that. But this article goes on to say Disney is hiring a DEI director who could earn up to 4 times the national average income, pushing a far left agenda. A job posting from Walt Disney Company for a DEI director role advertises a minimum salary of $197,700 and a maximum salary of $241,500. The average American salary in 2024 is $59,428. That's some good money right there. I mean, getting paid $200K just to say, oh yeah, this person's a minority, let him in. That's all it is, really. Oh, this person is not white. Oh, we gotta have them. Please give it. We need them. Oh, some of these people they don't have the experience. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, our company has fallen apart. Let's just keep sending them in. It's okay. It's crazy. $200,000 to do that. Crazy stuff. Last one, guys. Greg Abbott has removed over 1 million from Texas voter rolls. Greg Abbott announced more than 1.1 million people have been removed from Texas voter rolls under new election integrity laws. The removed names include over 457,000 deceased individuals and over 463,000 voters flagged on the suspense list. This is from Abbott. He says, these removals are a critical step in ensuring the integrity of our elections. By withholding strong election laws, we protect the voice of every legitimate voter. Thank you, Greg Abbott. If you are a Republican state and you are not going through your voter rolls, you're not a Republican state. You're a Democrat state. But that's all we have for today, guys. How are you guys doing? What's up? What's going on with you guys? What do we got in the chat? Oh, let me, there we go. There's the chat scene right there. We got Mama Bear, some of my great members. Mama Bear, hey, thanks for joining. We got Michelle C in the chat. Yes, thank you, Michelle. Who else we got? We got Christy 1. I'm going to call you Christy 1. And we got Queen Bee's Art Hive joining us. Thank you, guys. My great members. Bill Phillips, another one of my great members in the chat. Hold on, let me see here. Also, 1 second, we have a guess. Here we go. Here we go. We got a super chat from Rud1RN92. He says, or they say, keep holding these fake media organizations accountable and giving a breath of real news. Hey, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Hey, that's what keeps me going, man. It's this fake news. It just bothers me. It bothers me to no end. I can't stand it. Especially MSNBC. It used to be CNN. They're not. I don't find CNN as bad as MSNBC. I think MSNBC is the worst of the worst right now. It's incredible stuff. And just listening to them from day to day, it's just, I don't know. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. We got Christy 2 in the chat as well. The twins, Christy 1, Christy 2. You can only tell them apart by their hair, guys, okay? That's the only way. We got Wendy Girl in the chat. Rudd, yes. That's true. That's why I watch it. It's painful to watch, but you need to keep an eye on the enemy. Very true. You've got to. You've got to. It's very important. I mean, you've got to consider both sides, I believe. Because, you know, there might come a time sometime in the future that maybe it's the Republicans that are overstepping the boundaries. And you can't just always, you know, rely on your bias thinking that, oh, just because there's a Republican attached to it, that means it's okay. No. I mean, just like some of these Democrats, they're starting to realize that the Democrats are now the warmonger. They're the war party. They're the censorship party. That's why you have people like RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and a lot of these Democrats stepping away, because this is a Frankenstein's monster of what the Democrat Party was in the past. LJ, they say this is beyond evil. Jack Smith is a slimy creature. Yeah. He's a rabid raccoon. Yes. I kid you not. Let me see if I can find, I wonder if I can find that video really quick. Hold on a second. Woman attacked by raccoon. Let's see if this comes up. I don't think this is the one I saw. I think the one I saw was one in the park. But this is pretty much it. Look at this. This woman's on her back porch. It's kind of the same thing. There's Jack Smith. That's Jack Smith and Donald Trump right there. There he is. Look at this raccoon is just chewing away at his arm and just won't stop. They're like, what is going on? Look at, like, he's just, I mean, that's rabies right there. And she tries to throw it even, and it's just still holding on. That's not the one that I was thinking of. There's another one of someone walking in a park, and it's similar to that, but it's not the exact same one. It might have been like a little girl maybe walking in a park. It was a female, I remember, walking in the park, and this raccoon is just walking past and just jumps on her. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this morning. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you would, please, before you hop off of here, if you could leave a like on this video. And also, if you haven't yet, consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. And also, if you'd like to support the show, I have my links down below. Join as a member, or I have my donation link, my Cash App down there too, if you want to donate that way. But thank you guys for watching this morning. Hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless.